Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the Dev Fireside Chat. I am Jacob, and I've got Howard with me, and we got Mikko with us. He joined us for the stream earlier in the week, the Dev Games. I do know that the recent chat has just bugged out. I don't know why it's done that, but I'll sort that out while we're talking. In the meantime, Howard can tell us what very exciting thing is happening in the office right now.
Well, right now like yesterday we did more work on co-op testing, so we tested another new build. Today actually just doing a bunch of testing stuff, and we're just kind of basically working through making progress on the week in our sprint. And then we have like a basically a film crew who are here, just kind of like talking to us. It is actually really cool. It's really for they go to like different companies or different studios or whatever, different teams, and talk about what it's like to be there in different, I guess, call it industries. It's just for kids who are interested in that field and stuff. So yeah.
That's great. And you might have been noticing recently we had a bit of a server issue last night. We were unfortunately once again DDoS attacked. It's a big shame, but we worked hard and we got the game up and running again, so we're very happy. And more recently, good news because we've been on flash sale since then. So the game's got plenty of people in, and we're very happy with that. I am keeping an eye on the chat, and I'm trying to get it back up to work with you guys. So just bear with me for a sec, and I will be fixing that as soon as I can.
Yeah, it's pretty funny with the flash sale because I mean, a lot of times Steam will let us know, and this time like we didn't. And Jared and I were actually talking last night about like because we're doing some just some just call it performance work. We're looking at like some stability with our UI and stuff like that, and made some tweaks and do some testing. They were like, oh, do we want to do some schedule maintenance and make some of these like tweaks and stuff. And then we're like, oh no, we'll just put it up on dev app and just kind of test it ourselves for a little bit. And luckily, we didn't do that because this morning when I woke up, like Matt was like, hey, we're on flash sale. I'm like, wait, what? Like, okay, what happened? No idea. But luckily,
Arbitrary.
luckily it worked out so far.
Alright, so we've got quite a few concurrent users right now, which is really nice for us, of course.
Yeah. So we'll I guess just try our best to teach and help new players playing the game, learn the game, do that.
Right, that's great. We got a couple of questions in so far. The three MC
Oh,
are asking when do we get the keys. I'm not exactly sure what that question is about. It could be related to co-op mode. If you could clarify, that would be great.
it was co-op, yeah. And so let me kind of catch up on the progress with co-op this week first. So we made some adjustments to the new to basically to retrieve and just testing out the new logic, which I would say it's an improvement, but there's some like tweaks that we'll need to make, and we are trying out a new mode, called incursion, which is like it's like going around. It's like it's like contesting cap points, kind of like a little bit like how our old resource game mode works, but it's with new wrinkles and it's against the AI obviously, and so we're trying that out. Obviously, we can continue to iterate, but you guys can get the keys sooner than that, and we are doing some work on the resource or bonus objectives, and it's actually a little bit more fun now. There's like actual loot that drop in different places, and then if you take a chance and retrieve it, there will be you get bonus boosts and stuff like that. So, and that's kind of cool. Let's see, we're doing some more with AI in how the enemy ships scope or spot or detect player ships. I think before it was a little bit too all encompassing. It's like they're kind of too all knowing. So we're kind of defining more like their field of view and their detection range and things like that. So Yeah, those are some of the things that we're working on, and I think we're getting closer. Part of it is also UI. Even in dev app now, you see some new UI with like say cap points and whatnot. But in co-op, we're actually doing quite a bit with how to present just a different information that's specific to co-op, and that takes obviously a little bit of time to iterate and to get it to a place that we at least are happy with initially. So that's gonna take a little bit of time, and it is right now June 12th. Yeah, so we don't have a lot of weeks left. So we'll try to get it to a good point, get it to a good place, and then we'll kind of work out how to distribute the keys. So we'll say we're still roughly on track, but it's a little bit tight perhaps. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Mr. Disaster asking, just curious, what's the story of Itac joining Muse? Is it some top secret sneaky plot? Tell us a little bit about the tale of how Mikko joined Muse Games.
Well,
He asked us, and it's strictly based on his ability to answer emails. Really, no, just kidding.
oh, I see. I know my real function now.
Yeah, no, I mean I mean I think Miko wanted to work with us, and we could always use help. So and it's a good fit. Miko's like kind of, I mean he fits with like I guess our personality. I don't know what to say. Like yeah, and so I think he really understands how to serve the players and help players, and then he picks things up like relatively like pretty quickly actually. So yeah, so now we have him do a lot of stuff.
Here we go. All right. Mr. Disaster also asking about, speaking of UI, what's the progress of the new skirmish mode UI? So it's in dev app right now, isn't it?
Wait, what? Sorry, say that again.
The new skirmish mode UI.
The new skirmish mode UI is in dev app. Yeah, it's in dev app. Yes. If you're talking about the HUD stuff, yeah, it's in the dev app. I do want to caution people like when just to focus on the HUD, which is kind of the HUD like the overhead displays, right? Which is kind of what we are releasing with the next update. So like you'll see some like experiments on hit feedback and whatnot.
Everything
Try to ignore that. Those are just some work in progress, like tests and stuff. You don't need to care too much about it. So if you want to give us feedback, that would be awesome. We want that. But just focus on the heads up displays.
Okay, yeah. So that's being developed right now, and of course, if you have any feedback once you've looked at it, send it to feedback@musegames.com. We love all of that stuff. AP Soul asks, when the co-op keys go out, will we be able to get our hands on the co-op player ships as they're being developed?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely the plan.
Yeah, so you'll be going out there, and once we get you into, I suppose we're going to be. Will we have a new client, or are we going to try booting it using the regular game client? Do we know yet?
I am not sure yet. I mean, right now the way we internally test is that we have a different build, different version of the game that we have off of the the main build. I think we'll probably actually to be honest, like I need to try this out because we actually have another key or another app for just for just co-op as a DLC, if you will. So I think we might try that just to see how that works. But I am not sure because I don't have experience doing it, to be honest. So like I guess maybe before I do, I probably want to confer with Steam and see how best to distribute it.
Okay. Matchmaking question. Could you guys make it easier for separate ships to get together? So I'm guessing having some kind of system where two separate crew forms could join one another. Something.
Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, I mean, right now I think the easiest way is actually through a custom game. Because in matchmaking, the issue is that okay, so if you have separate crew form, let's say we allow you guys to join together in preform and then try to find the match, then we run into the same problem as two ships who are preformed together and then queuing together, because that really is sort of the case where you'll get the longest wait time, sometimes by far, because it is just a lot harder in a 2v2 match to try to for the matchmaker, especially if they're high level players, just basically like really highly skilled players to try to find uh, an entire crew on the other side, or two ships on the other side that will actually match the team. So the easiest way actually right now is to use custom games, and so you can do crew formations. You guys can form a custom game, and then that will be a little bit easier. I mean, that's sort of what I recommend. We can definitely look into that, but then right now we do have a bit of an issue with wait time for people who for multiple ships who are pre-forming together. It's just a little, it's just hard. Sometimes quite a bit harder for the matchmaker to find you the pairing.
Okay. A buddy of mine refuses to buy the game until adventure mode comes out. What should I tell him besides stop being a, and then there's a few stars?
No, I mean, I think that's totally valid because I mean, it is really, I mean, it's a different play style. I think so I think that's absolutely fine. I mean, not everybody likes to play PvP sometimes, so I absolutely don't mind. I mean, it's already amazing that you guys want to get the game, right? I mean, I can't ask for anything else really. So I mean, you can get the game whenever.
Yep, indeed, please do. What about the idea of gunner stamina allowing you to use overheated guns for a while?
That is interesting, and I think Eric has considered that. But I think right now, with reload and gun arc, it's already like I don't know. Like people tend to tell us, give us feedback saying that is pretty good. Maybe sometimes a little bit more on the not necessarily OP, but on the powerful side. So yeah, I don't know if we will be adding more abilities to gunner stamina. Um, just because I mean, also part of it is like if they can do that, and it's really prevalent to do that. People are also like there are definitely some people who are complaining about, well, not necessarily complaining, but at least like giving us feedback about
Feedback, yeah.
flame, because we did make adjustment to flame as well and how to counter that. So yeah, so
There is heat sink though, so I mean, gunners can, if they're skilled enough to kind of time your shots and reloads, then you can try to avoid fires that way too. So
yeah, that's true. That is also true. So there is heat sink, yes. So we can think about that, but I think right now, at the moment, we probably won't be adding more abilities to gunner.
Okay, lovely. Has this been an idea, being able to change class during matchmaking? For example, if the captain leaves, when there are a lot of players online, leaving two gunners and engineers on the ship, like
Yeah, we definitely get that. We had a couple of feedback emails about that as well. That is sort of the one case where we really need to probably do a better job of, because I mean, the issue is there are a few different issues. Is that if, so for instance, if the pilot just abandons match, then I think that is something that I think we need to address. But then if the pilot is reconnecting to the game because he just temporarily had a little bit of a I don't know, connection issue or whatever, then then we still want to have some time for them to resume. But I mean, even then, we could potentially have the crew assume the captain role temporarily, and then somehow have the logic of them resuming back to their own like crew roles when the captain rejoins. I think I mean, this is something that people are, giving us feedback for, and I think that this is the one case where we should address. But I think it's going to be a specific case in use case that we're looking at here, and not more blanket. Like, I don't think allowing people to blanketly switch roles during match is a good thing.
Yeah.
But I think in this case specifically, we should address. I agree.
A couple of people are talking about the engineer's stamina perk. Is there anything else that might be added to the engineer's stamina advantage other than sprint?
Well, there's jumps.
Maybe potentially we'll talk to Eric more about it. I mean, obviously people have different feedback about potentially reducing cooldown or potentially rebuild faster, whatnot. And yeah, so far we're a little bit hesitant in doing it or testing or on it, just because the ramification is pretty huge given how given the engineering role as it is, because you have the wherewithal to essentially cover just about all the different types of repair or rebuild situations. So I think it's going to be a little bit harder to create cases where it's really more based on strategic situational use. Yeah, but it's something to think about. Yeah, so I think it's definitely something to consider.
Okay. Sam Culper asking, I can't remember if this was a rumor or real, but are biplanes a thing? Planes are a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They're going into co-op mode. You can fight against enormous fleets of the things. They're fantastic.
It is. It really is.
We've got another question related to co-op mode. Will there be any power guns related added to the game? So this is sort of Tesla electric lightning guns, and those are also in the game. Omniraptor mentioned quite kindly. So, what else have we got?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm not sure if we'll bring it to skirmish. Right now, the focus is to make it work in co-op, but we'll see, because the nature of that weapon right now is really designed for co-op. It's really for multi-targets. So it's not really tailored to skirmish, to PvP. It's really more for okay, you can zap an enemy ship as your primary target, but also zap some planes that are around it, which is really fun and cool. But
okay. Omniraptor asks, what is
Question.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, well, a friend of mine was asking. They wanted to know what Howard's favorite creature.
I was
really curious.
Say, yeah, I like Zappy. I like Zappy, probably the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
Awesome.
A couple of people have been asking questions about the dev app. Omniraptor says, what's interesting in the new dev app build that just got released a few minutes ago?
We are basically doing some stability testing with, just UI, because, there's some weird issues with, some of the new UI, code that essentially we're using, or the new UI structure that we're using. So it's so we just want to put that up and test. So actually, if you guys want to help us out, you guys can just go into dev app right now, get the latest version of dev app, and just open it up. Just basically just open it up, right? And see if anything's janky or broken or whatever, and grab us a client log, the player log, and send it to you can send it to feedback, and we'll forward it to Jerry. And so just running some actual testing. Yeah, not a big deal. There's no new hidden guns in there or anything.
If you don't know how to get your in-game launch logs, there are instructions on how to do it in the FAQ on our website. So go to gunsoficarus.com and go to the FAQ. Dark Alex says, I seem to have seen a lot of solo ships for adventure mode. Will there still be ships with multiple crews, or is that being kept solely for PvP?
The ships are for multiple crew. They will also be, at least right now, all the ships are designed with a crew of 4 in mind, and so they're basically still crew for multiple players. And the enemies, though, they range from boss ships to airships, different ranges to biplanes. So there's ground turrets, so they are obviously different.
Okay. Have we considered decreasing the map vote time by 5 to 10 seconds? Some people would be happy with a shorter time, and many captains don't even choose loadouts or ships until the map is selected.
Yes, actually, this has been brought up before, and I need to check if we're doing it for the next update or not. I don't remember, but it's definitely one of the items on the to-dos that we earmark on Trello.
All right. How is the faction turf war system coming along? Is the system mostly in place, or does it still require work?
It definitely requires work. A basic version is in place from a code perspective. We actually built it out already, but in order for you guys to do anything with it, we need a UI to match, and that is actually being worked on by Warren right now. So I see some like wireframes and actually some mock-ups of some of the pages that are faction and world progression related already, and so that's what we're excited about, obviously. But that work needs to be done before you guys can see it. Otherwise, it's just it's not really usable.
Okay. Since when have we had European servers on the dev app? Is that a new thing? I thought that was something we already had going.
Servers on the dev app should be. Is that a new thing? I don't know. That should be a regular thing.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought, but I don't know. Okay. Well, they're in there now, so you're welcome, I suppose. We'll work out if that was a new thing or not.
Yeah, and to help us test it, today you don't need to play a match.
Yeah, you just need to open it and look at the menus.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Will players ever have the chance to use a biplane because, Banzai?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is a little bit. It's actually quite complex in making that work and how that integrates with, a current mode of combat, especially given that you have, essentially you have a crew member that could be taken off ship away from, your player ship. What is that going to be like from balance and from a gameplay perspective is something I think that's actually quite complex to work through. Originally, on the Kickstarter, we sort of listed that as like a far afield goal, which obviously we didn't make it that far, but it's always been there as a cool idea and something that we can aim for in the long term. But right now in the short term, it's pretty much going to be the case that when, say for instance, when PvE / like world progression and factional progression stuff, when all that stuff gets released, player controlled biplanes won't be a part of it. We could progress towards that, but yeah, it's kind of, it'll be the mode of play will be pretty different from how the game works now. So
Yeah.
Question, could you let us copy links from clan pages in game? Many clans have forums or Steam groups externally and put links on their clan message.
Yeah, I think that would be useful. Just have that be a feature in game in general. And I am pretty sure that is on Trello. It's actually more than on Trello.
Yeah, it's been suggested. It has.
No. I think that was. That's actually on this. At one point, it was on ours at the bottom of our sprint board, which I think where it resides.
Yeah. It's in there. It's in there.
Which
it's important.
Which we kind of missed. So.
Oops.
Dude, you guys just give us a lot of it's kind of awesome to get a bunch of suggestions that we
Yeah,
just kind
there's a
of go,
lot of great ideas.
wow, yeah, that's a great idea. Oh,
Mhm.
that's another great idea.
This is
Also a
such
great
a good
idea.
idea. Oh, this is a
The
good idea.
list just gets
Yeah,
longer.
like it's so
Yeah.
like all the ideas are great ideas, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it's hard to
Mhm.
get to them
Yeah,
all.
there is a lot of great ideas that come through feedback, and having people email on feedback is like super awesome because then we can use that as sort of our way of communicating all that information to the rest of the dev team. So
Mhm.
it's super cool that you guys are emailing in that stuff. So
When will we see new maps for 4v4?
I mean, technically, we could expand some of the maps out to 4v4, and I think some maps will be good for it. I think Eric was taking a pass on, seeing which map can convert for different game modes and different sizes. So I think for now, I think he's going to make what is he working on? A refinery death match.
Yes, that was last time I heard.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then I think he has got a couple other map
there were.
stuff that he's working on. I actually, top of mind, because he's not here today, I actually, top of mind, don't recall exactly which map and he's working on. But I need to check with him, actually. But
Mhm.
I mean, it is definitely possible. I mean, there is more of a performance constraint with 4v4 maps as is. It's not something. It's not like, oh, it's not something that we can't optimize. But 4v4, how expensive the maps are with like four ships on each side, it is more performance intensive.
Mhm.
Something we need to consider.
Okay. We've got a question, another one about the dev app. What is the gear for on the top right-hand corner of the new UI on dev app? So
The
I think that's
gear.
the in-game HUD. There may be a gear. I must admit I haven't looked at it that recently, so I might
Oh
be
god.
ill-informed.
Yeah, top of mind. What is the gear? I'm not sure.
Okay, there you go.
Is
We
Is that the
question mark.
wait? Is that CP? Is that CP or not? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. Really, the last time that I looked at
Take
the
take 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 me a screenshot. Take me a screenshot. I'm on stream right
yeah,
now, so
send that in to us. If you just pass Howard a screenshot and he'll look at
you
it for you.
pass me a screenshot now, and I will comment. Oh, I will answer on the stream if I know the answer.
Okay. Byron Cavendish is talking about the Tesla and the other weapons that we've got. Thinking
Uh,
about adding to co-op. We've got the art and sound assets there already, and it's a shame not to use them in skirmish, just because the design for co-op doesn't work for skirmish. It doesn't mean we can't use them. We could take those assets and tweak them and
yeah, yeah. I mean,
fiddle.
yeah. I'm definitely not saying that. Oh, we won't be able to. I think it's just that the primary concern right now is to design the weapons for co-op, right? And how they're used. But it's like, okay, fine. In co-op, we have one of the weapons that you guys will see pretty soon is a light beam, right? It's God's ray, whatever. So that's the light beam, right? And you know, in co-op, it's like, okay, cool. You're mowing down like AI and like whatever, right? But then like that kind of stuff, like in skirmish, like it's I don't know if it would be like the Artemis back in the day, so it's yeah, it's I mean, I guess we have to be able to really, I mean, we can evaluate all the weapons and see how they will potentially be balanced for skirmish, which we will definitely do. But I think in order for us to create for co-op, there will be some concessions where some weapons won't be that great for co-op. I
Hmm.
mean, you saw for skirmish. Just like, I'm not even sure if all the weapons, personally, is like gonna work that well in co-op from the current skirmish weapons.
Okay. We've got a question asking where can I find the dev app? Right. Well, there are a couple of ways to get into the dev app. The easiest way in terms of maintenance for you is to email us at feedback@musegames.com and request a dev app key. We'll give one straight to you right off the bat, and then you can come in and test our beautiful features.
Beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
they're gorgeous.
Indeed they are. Indeed they are. Another question: could we have stamina refresh faster if we're standing still?
Oh man, like it's already. I feel like with stamina, like with the refill, it's already a balanced challenge in how fast it refill. Like it's because I mean the strategic imperative for stamina is sort of the strategic limited use idea, right? It's not meant to be like refilled all the time for you to boost all the time. Even though it is pretty fun, especially I mean I use stamina mostly for piloting, and it's great. I personally can't wait for it to be refilled, and I wish that it's just always there. But we do want to make sure that is there's some still some strategic trade-off with it, with using it, where it's I feel like if we make it too easily refilled, then for any class really, then it's gonna be. I mean, it's just gonna be the dominant use case where people just constantly use it, right? I mean, and I think we still wanted for it to retain sort of the strategic element or the tactical element to it.
Okay. We've got a question for Mikko. Mikko, are you Finnish?
No, I'm a Norwegian American actually. So I work between Europe and the United States. But I have a Finnish name because I have a Swedish dad. So I don't know how that connects, but that's just how it was. It used to be Joachim, but then Americans would mess up the name and think you whack him by contortion of the name. So my parents just decided Mikko, So I know a lot of people ask me that if I'm Finnish, but I'm not. I wish I could though when I'm Finnish.
Nice. A bit of an off. Oh, sorry. A bit of an off-topic question. I heard Jacob say a few months ago that you guys were the best at the game. Have people now surpassed you in in-game skill? And does it feel sad not to be the best? To be honest, I think I was probably being sarcastic or ever so slightly leading you on if I said that we were the best. Muse's track record in tournaments has been bumpy, to say the least.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean,
force the survivability rate of our deathmatch games. I've noticed, so it has been getting better. I would say.
I mean, there I feel like there are a few clans that we've been able to more consistently beat, and what's that clan called? Cake, I think. Yeah, Cake.
Hello there.
No, I mean usually. I mean, I think it depends on who we have, right? If we have Vesta, and Jacob and Evo and I guess to some extent Matt, then we'll fare better. I mean, there is sort of the persona me, and and there's really the more self-reflective me, and if it's a self-reflective me talking, then I wouldn't say that I'm the best pilot in the game by any stretch. So there.
All right.
I don't know what to say.
Well, I would say that
I mean, but you know what? But at least
so.
Well, I mean, in the dev hour we're playing. In the dev hour we're playing.
Don't sell yourself short.
No, in the dev hour we're playing for fun, right? I mean, I think in tournament we do try to play really serious, but I mean, historically we're also undermanned. Just because
the full strength of the team isn't there, right?
Well, it's more like we just never have the strength to match other clans, really.
It is more fun playing with you guys, though. It's pretty entertaining, I have to admit.
Why is Bubbles living in what seems to be either a closet or a storage unit?
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm sitting on a couch.
There you go.
It's a couch, guys. It's not a closet, obviously.
Oh, okay. It's Risto just sent in the screenshot of the thing on the upper right. Yeah, so that is the new work in progress. What is this? The resource design, I think.
Okay. There you go.
I gotcha.
Have we considered making a button for temporarily muting voice chat for other teams and other ships? Many people can't concentrate with all the chatter, but they don't feel like blocking everybody.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. Can we do that for Steam? Because it's the way Steam voice chat works is P2P, and so I am not totally sure. I had to ask.
Are you speaking on Steam terms or in the lobby chat?
Well, I mean, we use Steam. Regardless, we use Steam voice actually. Yeah. So
Right. Oh, I see. In terms of the implementation for that in lobbies.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, that would be nice, actually.
For co-op/adventure, do we plan on adding any contraband or smuggling system for illegal goods? Being a steampunk drug smuggler would be quite awesome.
Hold on. Let me actually write that down about like temp muting.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And which is okay. So I got that written down.
That's all right.
What's this question about?
Drug smuggling, sort of contraband smuggling in co-op/adventure.
I mean, there is thematically there are like some of the missions or game modes are combined with resources do have that flavor because a lot of to make to hopefully add more strategic imperative or like wrinkles to the co-op game modes. Resource is actually a pretty big part of it. So a lot of the modes that we're working on have this kind of resource contest element, whether you are like plundering like resources, retrieving back to your base, or chasing down enemies and stopping them from gathering resources, or assaulting enemy like resource outposts while they're like collecting resource. So like that's actually a pretty big component of it. So while I don't think there's a specific mission or that right now anyway, that where the story is to pit you or to kind of have you role play as a pirate per se. I do think that the game modes and the different maps themselves kind of lend themselves to that flavor.
Okay. Do we know about the bug where the game shows that it shows a gunner that a spanner or something like a tool has been loaded into a gun? Yes, we do.
Oh yeah.
It's a known
yeah.
it's a known graphical glitch. It's a known graphical glitch, but you don't need to worry. Your gun is not actually shooting tools at the enemy. Please do not panic.
That is absolutely like at the top of the bug list right now.
Okay. Why couldn't we make a separate balance between co-op and skirmish so that you have different versions of each weapon and ship, for instance?
I think it's really sort of we also don't we absolutely can actually and we can even dress them up a little bit differently, but it's kind of right now if we're taking the same weapons and we're using it in each mode, I do think that consistency mattered because you're not getting two different copies of the game. The idea is that like, well, if you're in game, if you have both modes or both versions of the game, you can play either, and there has to be some crossover, and I don't want to like create two different sets of expectations with the same weapon. So that is definitely a consideration, I think.
Okay. We've got someone who's been trying the new UI out in the dev app. They kind of like it, but they're not so sure about the hit markers.
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Do not worry about the hit markers. Like only looking at the HUD, looking at the graphical components. That's all we're testing. The hit markers and the hit feedback and whatnot, that is just all placeholders, work in progress stuff. So
Okay.
I do want to make sure that we focus the scope of testing to just the HUD.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
We've got someone who's reporting a bug, although looking at the question, it sounds a bit more like an oversight than a bug. If my captain disconnects and I become the commander, I can choose, I can command AI crew, etc., but I can't talk to other captains using voice chat. Could this be fixed?
Yes, it can be. It can be fixed. It's basically related to the same issue that the person earlier brought up, which is kind of have
role switch.
The crew temporarily become like really the captain to have like all the captain features really.
Okay. This would be cool. A gun that can repair your ally. Can this be a thing?
Um.
So there would be a market for healer ships.
Yeah, that's actually
that would be interesting.
It is very interesting. It is very
That
interesting.
is, yeah.
How
that
yeah,
would work,
we'd have to ask ourselves quite a few fundamental questions about how would that work, what would exactly it be firing? But it would be such an interesting thing to have. And we've talked about sort of on a conceptual level, we've talked about guns that can put out fires on other ships, but never like that far in. You know, fixing other ships.
Yeah, it's actually really fascinating, and I wrote that down as well, and that is pretty cool. It could be. I mean, it could be interesting.
I like these ideas a lot. They sound really interesting. How they influence is the question, but that is a pretty cool idea. I'll give it that.
Another
a whole new strategy for ships as far as interaction.
Indeed,
especially if you're tank.
I mean, I think especially for like CP or for like larger engagement battles. I think that's actually
have a squid help out a galleon, for instance, like repairing it or putting out fires while it's tanking to fight the other ship. That would be really, really cool. Actually, I would like that idea a lot.
Yeah, totally.
Another sort of slightly out there idea. I think this one might be less likely to get in, but a gun that is effectively an ejector seat for bad captains. I'm thinking that may not work so well.
Yeah. I mean, it is really at the crux of the game, right? I mean, it's teamwork. I mean, it's really okay. I mean, I read a forum thread recently that by Maccal, which talking about different ways to encourage the interaction between player and crew, and what we'll consider to be the more, I don't know, not necessarily proper, but the things that the interaction that would be more conducive to teamwork, right? Such as doing something where with like recommended captain loadouts, perhaps doing something to incentivize people to accepting it, let's say, just kind of doing more stuff like that, where we actually positively, call it social engineer, but really positive to drive, to use positive reinforcement to reinforce that type of interaction. I think that will be still the direction that I want to explore more, just because, to be honest, I mean, to be serious for a second, like that type of like the negative reinforcement stuff, it doesn't, like, based on like what I've seen, what I've looked at or referenced, it doesn't really work. I think it creates sort of a downward spiral, where
I want people to have fun, so.
Yeah, it's really because like ultimately, right? If you really look at cases of this type of, especially in a very teamwork oriented setting, like the kind of interaction and the type of like teamwork or lack thereof between captain and crew is very gray. It's actually very gray. I mean, people can be even reported for trolling, for this and that, based on a number of circumstances, and it's also like a perspective issue. Like people have different perspectives, right?
I know some pilots that are strictly pilot only, but you can also help prepare and do other things.
Yeah, I mean, because like sometimes disagreements even happen when we're playing the game. Like, I don't particularly like, say how Eugene flies, or he doesn't like how I'm, whatever. And then, we will get into it a little bit too, right? But I think ultimately, so if I just like say, oh yeah, I'm here with two friends, let's just vote kick the captain. That ultimately doesn't solve, unless we make the punishment like really severe. It doesn't really solve any issue, because I mean, you're gonna maybe bump into him again, like another match, and who knows? I mean, so and things could, like, people could have like report wars, and that type of stuff where we've seen like games who talk to other devs. We've seen a lot of cases of like report trolls and stuff as well. So it doesn't really, I don't think having that kind of negative feedback loop, to me, work as well. Which is like which is really why we have been really resistant to looking at vote kick, because I mean it's easy to do, but then I don't think the ramifications as simple as people think it is. It's actually, in reality, it's actually a lot more complex than that. And so I think I still want to just keep trying to explore more positive ways um, to reinforce good behavior. Of course, we'll also moderate and look at the really obvious, you know, black and white cases, such as like, oh, maybe AFK and whatnot.
When will we be able to pre-order co-op on Steam?
Oh, I actually don't know the answer to that because that is really a Steam question. Because to be honest, I mean, there are a few different ways that we found we can set this up. But yeah, I actually need Steam's input to be able to do that, and we haven't gotten there yet. So I'm actually honestly not sure yet.
Okay. Could we please make it so that the captain spot, the B key captain spot, is visible to other captains on the same team? It would help cooperation a lot.
Captain spot.
Yeah. So if you look over somebody and you push B, then it puts up a targeting mechanism that your crew can see.
Yeah.
So they're suggesting that you extend that so that other captains can see your captain spot as well.
So basically to extend captain priority to like team, basically.
Yeah, so that they can see your target as well.
Maybe color coordinated, so you see which ship is actually pointing at who.
Yeah, otherwise there would just be several, maybe. So yeah, that.
Yeah. That is an interesting idea. I like that a lot, actually. Especially if you're not verbally communicating, you want a quick reference. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea.
Right. A couple other people saying that I like the idea of healer ships, and someone else suggesting a kamikaze ship would be funny.
Kamikaze ship has been the idea that I've suggested and repeatedly shut down.
Yeah, well, it's a Spire. It used to be the Spire.
I support you, man. I support you. Like, I love the idea of like last minute, just throw yourself against another ship and blow up. Even if you know you're going to go down anyways, at least do some damage to someone else. That would be amazing. That would be super cool. Just something like that. Yeah,
I do wonder, like in reality, if that will open itself up for abuse. Maybe it's like a.
Well, it wouldn't be overpowered. It could be kind of calibrated, but just the idea, like you're going to go down anyways. You may as well do some more damage if you can, kind of thing, where it's proximity damage or something.
But then I don't know. I think that is something we have to carefully think through, which is, but
Don't take up a pilot class, so you would have to take up like determined tools for that tool, maybe something like that.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be on the. It could
you
be
have to make sacrifices if you want to be able to do that kind of thing.
Well, it also could be a limited use case. So I don't know.
It could be incendiary. It could be just a big fireball and just starts fires nearby ships or something. Something like that. Just
maybe and maybe the crew is not ready to die yet. Who knows?
We also need a fireworks one where if you blow up, everything just, that'd be really cool.
There is fireworks in the game, though.
Yes, there are.
Yes, there is, but it's not optional.
Can you guys talk about the assault game mode? Will it have chivalry-style segmented stages, or what kind of segmented objectives have you guys thought of?
It is a little bit segmented, and so in a sense that your objective appears after your primary objective appears after you have accomplished the previous primary objective. So the main base of the enemy that the main enemy base, for example, it is it's reserved for if you have done all the previous objective in the match. So there is there is a sense of progression that way. Plus there are like a resource context and I think we're going to build in some bonus secondary objectives as well. So we'll see. I mean, I think we can definitely kind of refine that and add more to it, but I wouldn't say it's like super complex right now, but at least there's something. And I guess hopefully soon you guys will see how that feels.
Mm-hmm. Could we make the harpoon gun work on teammates so I can prevent Leroy Jenkins' charges by dim-witted goldfish?
That's
harpoon them back. Get over here.
Yeah.
Oh,
We said we'd stay together.
That is actually kind of cool. I don't know. I mean.
We've also got a request for a capture the flag mode.
Yeah, there is there was a capture the flag mode, if you guys remember. That is a CP race mode. I mean, with multiple control points, right? And at some point, we prototype a capture the flag mode. I mean, in skirmish, the problem with a capture the flag mode is that it becomes a squid race game. In co-op, though, which is kind of what we're a version of it is kind of what we're working on now. It doesn't necessarily. We can make it not so, right? Because it's like, you want to use the squid race, okay? The base whatever that you're trying to capture, which is be more heavily fortified. So we can scale up, enemy, like, right. I mean, we can basically scale up the enemy based on what you're doing. But in skirmish, like in the past, it has devolved into a squid race, right? Because why not take the fastest ship and run around, right? And you can try to camp at some locations and whatnot, which happens, but the overarching strategy is still to use squids to race around a lot of times.
We've got a request for a 2v2v2 game mode in skirmish to give it a fresh look. We've had a lot of people request that, and we've sort of talked about it a little bit. But
oh yeah, for sure, we talked about it more than a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. It's really cool.
Okay. Related to the capture the flag question, what if the flag caused ships to slow down so that you couldn't run away as easily?
I don't know. Maybe, possibly. Okay. I mean, it's just a problem that we need to look at, balance wise, or how to combat that.
What decides the class of an AI if somebody disconnects mid-game? Is it random? And what about the levels under their names? Do they mean anything?
It's based on crew composition, and going forward, it's going to work a little bit differently. Going forward, at least the gunner AI will now have engineer equipment. Well, they would now have it basically all the engineer loadout. So you don't get into a situation where the AI gunner was making a repair, he has bad loadout, he can't do anything. So that change we're making now, and we'll go into the next update. Okay. So yeah, I am not sure that's really what the source of your question or concern is, but that's kind of what we're doing now. And as far as how the AI is composed, is really based on crew composition.
Okay, we've got just about 7 minutes left to go until we've done our hour. So if you want to get your last questions in now is the best time. We've had someone's asked this question a couple of times now. When are we going to stream under Guns of Icarus instead of Goyo like everyone else on Twitch? We're actually going to keep streaming under Guns of Icarus Online. We're going to be talking to Twitch about getting Guns of Icarus, which is a game that technically doesn't exist anymore. We're going to get that removed so that everyone is streaming under Guns of Icarus Online. A lot of people do just call us Guns of Icarus just because it's easier to say, but the full name of our game includes the online, and so we're going to make sure that people use the same game when they're streaming.
Yeah, I mean, we were thinking, I don't know how you guys feel, but when we first started originally, it was like, oh yeah, we were trying to make a distinction between, what we had before and this online version of the game, but calling it online now, looking back, it's like, meh, it's probably not that good. And actually, if you guys, if you have questions, keep answering. I'm gonna keep answering. But I mean, I also wonder how you guys feel about Steam refund.
There we go. So, question for you. There's a question for everyone at you out there.
Because this is in the last over the last week, this is a huge dev topic. How devs feel about Steam refunds, and people follow all the spectrums, and everybody's kind of looking at their refunds and stuff like that. So I'm curious to see how you guys feel about Steam refunds. Is it easy? Do you guys feel you guys want to bother with it, or what? Yeah, just thoughts.
What about weapon skins or tool skins?
I think that's cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely thought about it. Thought about doing that. Yeah,
That would be cool. Yeah.
yeah, that would be cool.
I think it'd
Totally.
probably have to be the kind of thing that if you had it on Workshop, and then you had to enable it manually, just because otherwise you might end up confusing yourself.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a concern because you might associate the cosmetic changes to the gun with like, oh, it being a different gun and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's
so
it's a little bit riskier, but it is cool though.
yeah. Why does the AI always change my ammo back to basic when they jump on a gun? Could that be changed?
That could be changed, but AI doesn't really respect get ammos right now.
No.
They pretty much never respect ammos. So
Disrespectful.
Yeah.
yeah.
Jacob and Itak, how does it feel to be interns and amongst each other? Oh, I think it's pretty cool. It's all good.
I love it. I don't know. It's really empowering. I love it. It's fun work, and everyone on the team is really, really awesome to work with. So definitely keeps me busy during the day. Just love what I do. So. Yeah.
Right. Somebody saying in the chat that Steam refunds are great. So there you go. There's one side of the opinion. And then there's another one from Omniraptor saying, "Oh yeah, it punishes devs for making games DRM free. Really freaking sucks."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of where the dev concerns are. It's not with the fact that Steam is offering refunds. It's really more with their basic terms and how it is really blanket for all the games. I can totally see both sides really. It's
likely
it's,
to change though. I think with
maybe.
Those,
I don't know.
With
But like, I think
free items, it would probably make some adjustments to that. Like,
I don't know.
like
I mean,
it's
Steam is like Steam's been they'll put out stuff, right? But then they'll usually let things sit for a long while before they make any changes. So, yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of where the concern is. Like, I actually am part of some like indie dev, groups and chats and whatnot, and a lot of people are talking about it, and that's sort of the concern. I think initially it's like really new and people want to use it and take advantage of it and whatnot, which is great. I mean, personally, I think having a refund policy like that is easier. Whereas like, because before like Steam's supposed to have one, right? But it's just like all the work is passed down to us. And it's like, oh, this doesn't work. Oh, can I get a refund? And then like, I don't know what to do. It's like, because I forward them to Steam's not going to do anything a lot of times. And then, okay, fine. We'll just like try to take care of it through PayPal, let's say. But then, I can't get Steam's 30% like back because, they take 30% and I just have to eat the cost and help our players with refund, which is like, not a big deal. But, but it's just like a lot of hassle that work that we used to do. And now it's like, okay, fine. Steam's finally doing what they're supposed to do. And I think it's great. But I think that the terms, because I mean, it applies to like all the Steam games right now. And, some devs who make shorter games and whatnot, they're really concerned. So,
yeah.
Just a quick follow-up on the kamikaze ship idea. Make it a pilot ability, so when the hull is at like 15%, you can activate it, and then there's a countdown timer. If you ram somebody before the timer runs out, then it's an insta-kill for both.
I don't know. I don't think it will be an insta-kill, really. I think if you do something like that, in my opinion, it will definitely be an insta-kill for you. But you'll do like, major damage, maybe like mine or at least mine, if not more. Maybe greater AOE or something, but then it can't be. I don't think it can be insta-kill for the opposing team, because that's kind of a lot. That's very advantageous.
Yeah. A couple more opinions on Steam refund. If I've got no hours on a game and I bought it 2 months ago, I won't be able to get a refund, even if that's just store credit. And then another one saying, I do think the system is too easily abusable in its current state. It needs to be refined a bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's I agree. So yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. I mean, right now, I think we're definitely seeing more like refunds, but hopefully that's it's not because people are abusing it. It's because maybe either people have problems or they try the game a little bit and it's not for them, whatever. And that's fine. But I don't know. I guess right now it's kind of early to say. I'll try to. I'm collecting data as well, and hopefully I'll have more to share. So.
Is there any way to try co-op on the dev server or anywhere else?
Yes, eventually, yes, pretty soon, yes. But just keep in mind, guys, that we're going to be prioritizing the people who pre-ordered and who backed us on Kickstarter first and foremost, and just because they've been waiting for a long time, and we need to take care of them first.
Okay. Did we ever find out if we can use assets made in free Unity on Pro?
I am not sure because I don't know a lot about basically the free Unity version of what asset they have in there. I'm uncertain. I mean, I feel like intuitively though, like if you have assets that are usable for free, you should be able to do that in Pro. I would think. I think because Pro is just like they're just more features that they lock that you don't get to use it free, right? So that seems to make sense, but like I don't really know as much. I can ask Alex, but I don't really personally know as much about like what's offered in the free version.
Okay. Swallow4 is asking when the last time I cut my hair was. I'm pretty sure it was December 2013.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have forgotten one trim since then, but that's the last time I know I had my hair cut. So there you go.
Being the son of a hairstylist, you should probably consider getting it cleaned up every now and then for split ends. Just saying.
I'm well aware.
Yeah.
That I take very good care of it. It gets spoiled.
Yeah.
With sort of 20 cents a litre for shampoo bottles, like really cheap stuff.
That is the nice thing about having short hair is it's just that probably don't spend as much on shampoo if that matters.
There you go. Divtree asking, can we make maps for you?
I mean, yeah, like that would be a dream. Like, well, right now Alex is actually working on some map creation tools that can make map creation a lot easier, hopefully. And then after that, we can consider how much we can like actually make that accessible for players. But up until this point, map creation, to be honest, is really kind of our biggest bottleneck. It's really tedious. We have to consider balance. We have to constantly test and whatnot, and it's very hard to do. It's very manual. So, for you to create a map, really, it might take you like months. I mean, because even for us, it takes us like 3 to 4 weeks to like craft a good map. So it's it's something. So it's just something that we haven't thought like people want to invest the time in doing. But I think once we have better map creation tools and to make that a lot easier and more accessible, then I think we'd love to see what you guys come up with. It'd be pretty cool.
Matilde is suggesting that we go for 4v4 or 3v3 Paraton, and also remembers Paraton being larger. So if we use the larger version of Paraton, we could probably get away with an expanded game mode, sort of 3v3 or 4v4. Because it was big. It's a big map. I mean, the version we have in game right now is a quarter of the original size. It's
definitely possible. The issue with that map is that there's a ton of geometry in the map, and
it's not been updated.
So it's not the easiest performance-wise. So we'll have to do some optimization work, I think, first before we can make that a bigger map.
Okay. Well, we're just about caught up in questions, and we are quite harmlessly heading into overtime. The Iron Fork of Friday is starting in about 25 minutes, so we've got some leeway. Should we stick around into sort of... should we just dial it down? Have you got to go soon? Because we've got the film crew still in with you, haven't you?
Yeah, but we still have like... I think I'm okay. Nobody's calling me away yet, so...
Okay. Alright, so we'll just wind it down. Nice and gentle right here. So if you've got any questions, now's the time to ask them. Alright. Could you guys publish a picture with locations on the world map for all of the skirmish maps, so that we know where they all are?
Actually, yeah, we did that for Peshka. Yeah, I think I'll talk to Eric and Tim. Actually, Jake, can you note that down for me? Actually, as a
Sure. All right. Oh dear. Oh dear. You can see my notepad window. There we go. Right. Publish locations of all skirmish maps. Alright, that's great. Is there any way that my character can look more Asian? Because it looks weird with my character named Yumishiko and looking super white.
yeah.
Well, you can change the skin tone, but as far as
Yeah.
facial structure, there's no option for it yet. So
Yeah. I think there's just there's no like face shapes and stuff like So
it's not
right now
like,
right now it is really just skin tone. So
it's
yeah,
not ESL. It's not super detailed, but it does its own justice, I suppose.
Have we
Yeah.
personally found any snowmen in the co-op ships?
Co-op ships.
That might be a question to ask us privately. We would not want to give away our secrets. Somebody else also mentioning character customization, sort of more facial structures and the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah. I think that's totally valid.
Okay. When do we get to see the co-op B-roll footage?
Oh, well, okay. After E3, because we did it for Sony. The latest one we did it for Sony, and they want to use it for E3, and usually they want to make sure that they get to use that stuff first, and so after E3, which is what, next week.
Is it okay?
Yeah, so we can put that up, on YouTube and stuff like that for you guys.
Okay. Who do the interns feel will be the next intern from the community? Yeah, I gotta say, I shrug my shoulders right here because this.
Well, like there is, like
I mean, that's not even in our control. That's something that.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
really involved in that decision-making
It's really-
process.
it's,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're I mean, we're pretty down with like working with whoever it's what's we get so someone just like kind of asked us about the competitive scene and doing more to work with ESL or whoever, maybe not MLG, but like ESL and so on, to kind of build to extend our competitive scene, maybe like get Twitch streamers and whatnot. So how much is that as an internship? I mean, I guess that could be considered an internship as well. So it's I don't know. I mean, I think it just, we're really flexible about working with all you guys.
Okay. How are workshop items chosen to be put into game? Does the vote?
Sorry, it was Gabe. Gabe who like reached out to us about like ESL and stuff. So we're talking to him as well. He's like really knowledgeable about competitive stuff. So yeah.
All right. How are workshop items chosen? Does the vote on the Steam Workshop have any impact?
Yes and no. Like yes, in the sense that it, we'll definitely check it because it's easy for us to see like what, you guys like, and what are popular. And so it's a quick way for us to see, the items, to see what items are out there, what new items are out there. But we do go through the entire like list as well. And while we look at like the popular items and the things that you guys upvoted, there are other, like, I think that's sort of where the curation process starts, not ends, because like we really had to take a look at copyrights, which come up, and redundancy, so like bunch of Jolly Roger ones.
Yeah,
like,
we've already said no more Jolly Rogers.
Yeah, so things like that, and just really sort of call it like design and how it fits with our game and how nicely it's executed. So that's sort of, I mean, yeah. So I think the votes obviously helps us, but I think that's actually the start of our curation, not the end of it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Could we have it so that it just the lobby system adds time when people join ships instead of unreadying them? It gets annoying having to press ready all the time.
Yeah, I mean, right now it adds a little bit of time in on readies, but we can.
have had emails. Yeah.
Yeah, we can look at we can look at that really. I guess. Yeah, like I don't have Trello open. Like, do you, Mikko? Like, can you add that card on Trello as well?
The suggestion about the ready buttons, or
About adding time instead of unreadying the ships when people join them.
Yeah, like let's add that one on Trello as well.
Okay. Well, right now, I was going to say we caught up in questions. There's one left. Has there ever been an idea of earning tokens for playing the game to be used on cosmetic items? Well, at the moment, when you earn experience and you level up, you already get cosmetic items out of it. So there are quite a few different ways to get yourselves some nice tasty loot.
Yeah, and we have some thoughts actually about something along that line for teamwork. So we'll. I mean, Matt is still thinking it through, and we can talk more about that next week.
Okay. All right. So this is going to be the last question. Has anybody yet reached the final underdog achievement?
Oh yes.
There's been a couple.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. No, there's been quite a few, and somebody. I won't mention any names, but someone did that on the second day.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So somebody really cared about it enough to do it.
Yeah.
That quickly.
Why Blessed Champion?
There you go.
That just sounds so incredible.
Well, there you go. So fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for the Dev Fireside Chat. We will be back here at the normal time next week, so half an hour later than we started today. And you can also catch us for the Dev Games at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays, where you can fight us and try and get free stuff. But we'll see you again soon, and thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah, thanks, guys.